Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome to another TV Central one-on-one podcast. I'm Aaron Ryan. This is episode 8, 2024. Australia's newest entrepreneur hopefuls looking to turn their dreams into reality will put everything on the line in Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, a brand new series for the Nine Network, premiering Tuesday, March 26th at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 9 and 9 Now. Global culinary superstar and CEO Gordon Ramsay will be pitted against Australia's business mogul, Janine Allis. With an investment of $250,000 each, they're on the hunt for Australia's most exciting and innovative new food and drink ideas to mentor and invest in. Strap in as we embark on a journey with the visionary founder of Boost Juice, Janine Allis. From humble beginnings to global success, Janine's story is one of resilience, innovation, and unwavering determination. Join me as we explore the highs and lows and the invaluable insights Janine has gained throughout her extraordinary career. Janine has appeared as a shark on Shark Tank, has been a contestant on Australian Survivor, and was a boardroom advisor to Lord Alan Sugar in The Celebrity Apprentice. Now she's taking on the globe's most famous chef, Gordon Ramsay. Janine Allis is now here at TV Central. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, in your introduction for the first episode of Food Stars, you say, and I quote, "I started Boost Juice 23 years ago, was a young mum with 3 little kids, didn't have an absolute clue. Now you have 800 stores across 4 brands. Surely you had some clue."
I have a clue now. I didn't have a clue then. Like, look, in actual fact, sometimes naivety plays a huge part in success, right? So sometimes if you don't know what you don't know, you just do it. Because I think we get in our own way. We go, oh, that's too hard. You know, opening 100 stores in 4 years, that's impossible. So as soon as you say that, it becomes impossible. But if you have that view of you actually don't know anything, and I seriously, look, I left school at 16. I seriously knew nothing. But I had a curious mind and I just worked it out. And you can work it out. So literally didn't have a clue.
Well, if I'm correct, a lot of your successes come from taking very high risks. It's about investing, instinct, and determination. Now, I'm being a little sarcastic, but also serious in saying this, that you could take more calculated risks and buy a McDonald's franchise as an example. Is there a rush or something within you that wants to break new ground, shape new ideas, and be an entrepreneur?
Do you know the reality is I actually don't think I'm a risk taker. I actually really plan things effectively and I try and get ahead. I always can't try and think like in actual fact, you have the entrepreneur, like the true entrepreneur who like has creates a product and is so excited about it and then goes, oh, there's another bright light. I'm going to go over here. Right. That's not me. I get into something and I go right down to the micro weeds to understand what it is to hopefully mean that the decisions I make aren't risky. So I think I go back to the question before, and I didn't know anything, but I was so conscious of the fact that I was a junior burger that I was so like every information I had, I sucked it like a sponge and made it my own. So it was no, it was so I don't see myself as a risk taker actually.
That's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. All right. Usually when you look at someone's background, there's some glimpses into their future success. With yourself, media assistant, assistant gym manager, a nanny in France, promotions executive, camp counselor, senior manager at a cinema chain, touring agent, publisher. I'm trying to join the dots from these experiences to the strong, fierce, phenomenal businesswoman you are now. Can you help me join the dots?
No dots. There's no dots there. It's
Dots.
just, you know what it is? I suppose if you're going to go for a dot, it's the sense of adventure and sense of trying things that don't have no idea about. Like, so as you said, running a manager of a cinema compared to a nanny in France, to selling timeshare, to being camp counselor, to being a door bitch at a nightclub. Like, there's no correlation, there's no connection other than she gives things a go.
Yeah.
Right? I have a crack. But interesting things that I learned. Like, so when I was a stewardess on a boat, I worked for David Bowie. And for that actually was a lesson that I learned in that people are people. So it didn't, so even though people go, oh, I haven't got the education of that person, so they're smarter or whatever, what I found was the common sense was overrated. And even though I was sitting in front of a lawyer and he had 6 years study to become a lawyer, the questions I would ask based on common sense found that he didn't actually know everything that I thought he should know, and he got things wrong. So I learned that really early, that just because they have a title of a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, doesn't mean they get it right.
Yeah.
So I then made sure that I knew as much as I physically could, enough to be dangerous, but not enough to be an expert in it, but enough to know what questions to ask.
Mm.
So yes, I was conscious of the fact. I was also really conscious that when we started this business, we got other people to invest into it. So there was friends and family that invested, and I took that really seriously. So I felt that as a real burden, that I am happy, not happy to lose my own money, but I can live with losing my own money. I found it a huge burden to deal with other people's money.
Mm. I want to pick up on something that you mentioned there, because I was going to ask you later in the podcast. A stewardess with David Bowie. I don't even know what the question is here. What was the story there?
Oh, look, to be honest, as you mentioned before, I was a camp counselor. I was nanny in France. I was selling timeshare, and literally found myself in the south of France, and I was completely broke. As in completely broke, I had literally $20 in my wallet. And I remember going to the supermarket. Actually, I can still see it. And I sat down and looked and goes, "What can I buy that will last me, a few days? Is it Wheat Bix? Not that I had Wheat Bix there, but the Wheat Bix equivalent. Is it bread? Is it, what was it? Um, and I actually went to I heard that you can get jobs on the boats back then. I think it's a little bit more technical than going to a pub, but I went to a pub called Harry's Bar, and I met the engineer there, and he said, "Oh yeah, they're looking for stewardesses on Deneb Star," and that was in a place called Villeneuve-Loubet, which was about I don't know 20-minute train ride from Antibes, where I was at the time. And yes, sure enough, back then there was no internet, there was no Facebook, there was no way that they could tell that when I said that I had enormous yachting experience in Melbourne, that that they couldn't check. So because I had all this experience, I got the head stewardess, not just a stewardess role.
Oh,
I know. So hello, and then from there, 6 weeks later, Bowie bought the boat. I certainly didn't get on the boat and Bowie had it. It was just luck, really. And then yeah, for the next 2 years I got to hang out with rock stars and movie stars. But it
wow.
did teach me that they're not don't want to say anything special. They're obviously incredibly talented musician or incredibly talented actor. So they're special in that way. But as people, they're just people. So I learned that from all these different jobs. The other thing I learned was problem solving, because a young and naive 21-year-old traveling around the world on her own without any mobile phone, any form of communicating, that it was actually up to you. So every day, and I got myself into all sorts of precarious situations where some of them would end up very badly for me. Luckily, they didn't, but they could have. And so that problem solving, that ability to go, failure is not an option here, definitely not here, because I'll end up being raped or murdered. And there has to be a solution, and I have to think quickly. So yeah, that was definitely, those are the things that taught me as a fundamental to then go into business. So
Yeah.
there's the dots. That was a long answer to there's the dots.
No, no, it's really interesting actually. I mean, because obviously people think of you as having maybe all this opportunity and stuff, but there's a time that you just literally were having $20 in your wallet. Is it Wheat Bix? Is it noodles? It's very fascinating. I know this is probably your number one asked question. Boost Juice was created from your home in 2000. The first Boost Juice store was located, I think, in Adelaide. And the franchise is now in 13 countries, of course. I'm now asking on behalf of every person with a dream, how? How do you do
How
that?
how do you do it? How do you do it? You put one foot. It's like, how do you climb Everest? You put one foot in front of the other. As you're climbing Everest, your rope might break. You've got to solve that problem. You might go the wrong way. You've got to solve that problem. So it was a little. So I think if I had a superpower, it's to make complicated things simple. So as I said, I came from zero base, and the business course I did was called Boost Juice Bars, and so I had to learn about GST was implemented the same year that I actually started the company. So it was like, okay, I got to learn how that works, right? So you just every single day you're literally learning what you need to know for that day to achieve your goal. So I think the key thing is you go, here is my end goal, right? And that's either opening stores or going international or whatever the end goal is. So everything I had to do today had to be something to achieve that end goal. And
Mm.
so, yeah, so that's pretty much how you do it. So it's, and sometimes it thinks people go, it's too big to think about, 13 countries, 800 stores. It's too big, so I won't start. So I think that there was a point where we're opening a store a week at one point in 1 year. And I said to the team, I said, we don't count. Don't count how many stores we've got to open. What do we need to do today to actually get the next store open? And what do we need to do today to get the 3 stores ahead of it open, which is, like go to councils and blah, blah, blah. So I think it was some people get in their own, actually, most people get in their own way.
Definitely. Well, it might be your on-screen persona, but after watching you on The Celebrity Apprentice, Shark Tank, and now Food Stars, you do come across as a kind of no-nonsense, straight down the line, brutally honest, get to the point, fierce businesswoman. Look, I've done over 150 podcasts, and this is the first time I felt a little bit intimidated. Is that just a persona, or a screen persona, or how would you think your friends and family and colleagues and employees would describe you?
I don't know. I'm not I think what I do is I just expect people to be good. So I just, I do this evil thing with people sometimes. I go, I know you're capable of that. I know it. So I sort of set the bar half high for them to reach. And they always reach it. I always have great people around me. And if they're not, they don't last. So I'm not a screamer. I'm always polite. I always see people working with me, not for me. I think that's a really important difference for me because I go, I know what I need to achieve, but I can't do it on my own. So I
Yeah.
need people around me. I think my friends would say I'm goofy. I make words up. They say that from an intelligent woman, I say some stupid stuff. I think that I am no nonsense. I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered with drama. Hate drama. Can't be bothered with people who are victims. I think that there's solution to everything. So I probably, as I get older, I'm probably intolerant, but
Mm.
I have incredible friendships, and I am an absolute slob. Like I am literally for this meeting. I'm like, oh God, it might be videotaped. All right, I've just got out of the surf, so my hair's in a bun. I chuck some makeup on, and then I go, okay. And down here, literally, I've got my surfing pants, which are terry toweling, and so I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess.
I want to focus on clearly one of your strongest traits, or which I believe anyway, and that is having strong instinct. On the first episode of Food Stars, you turned down one business owner that had invested 1.2 million in a drink with no artificial sugar and using Australian Indigenous ingredients. Very determined man. I was certain
Mm.
he would get a spot, perhaps over someone that had, a cupcake business. Without getting bogged down with those particular contestants personally, what are all of the elements you're looking for when investing in a product or an idea?
Well, the first and foremost thing I look for, does the consumer want it? And so yes, what he missed was that guy was he had all the health benefits, right? But he didn't have the taste. And I don't care. Humans don't, they want to be healthy, but they don't want to eat cardboard, right? They want to be healthy, but they want to actually enjoy what they eat at the end. So they want the unicorn, they want everything.
Yeah.
And so if you don't get everything right, then it's just not marketable. And so probably with him, I probably knew too much. So and the other thing is because I was on Survivor, I think he had sea slugs in it. And I remember I know, seriously. And I remember on Survivor, we captured a sea slug and we thought we'll eat it because I remember Googling you can eat them, right? And you cut into it and it just oozed. And all I could think of at the time was, I'm thinking, oh my God, I know what these look like. I know what's in them. I am not going near this product. So I think I was a bit triggered.
I don't remember you saying that on Food Stars, but you're a little bit more polite than the slugs. But for the few that think of Janine Allis as the Boost Juice lady, you have formed the company Retail Zoo, which is absolutely massive. For people that don't know what Retail Zoo is, can you tell me how you formed that and what Retail Zoo does? Because people will know the stores that are under that umbrella.
Yeah, okay. So we started with Boost, and businesses need to grow. And so we were growing Boost. We want another brand to grow alongside it. And so we created a company, an overarching company called Retail Zoo. So it has a number of brands. It has Boost Juice, it has Betty's Burgers, it's got Salsa's Fresh Mix Grilled, and it's got Cheapo, which is very Adelaide based. If you're in Adelaide, you'd know Cheapo. So yeah, so it's got a number of brands under it. And so basically we have this engine at the back, which has marketing, legal, franchising, accounting. So it's got all this engine. So basically, we're just feeding the engine. We're going,
Mm.
okay, what are we good at? We are good at taking brands and making them big safely. So that's pretty much what Retail Zoo is.
All right. For people that want some inspiration, I recommend your book, The Accidental Entrepreneur, The Juicy Bits. Can you tell the audience a little overview about what the book's about?
Look, the book is sort of a combination of my journey. There's actually a latest edition that actually has the Survivor edition in it because that was quite a really interesting part of how I think now too, just going through that experience. So yeah, basically it starts off with because like many people, they don't know that you come from Baronia in the burbs of Melbourne, or they don't know that you had never had any money and you've had to build it from everything. So it's probably just that journey of, hey, if she can do it, you can do it type thing. And then within that book, it's lessons that I've learned. So it's how I think about your greatest asset, which is integrity, or and I give stories around that. So it's just basically a bit of a journey and a bit of a, hey, if you're into business, here's some tips, or you can flick through those and just read the story bits.
All right, let's get to Food Stars. We got to talk about that. Can you give me an overview of what the series is about?
Okay, so basically, it's Gordon and I go head to head. Which I mean, as soon as they said that I was against Gordon Ramsay or anyone, I'm a ridiculously competitive person. I went, oh my God, a game that I can win, sign me up. So basically, there's 30 people that come to us to pitch for the rights for 14 places. So there's 14 places available, 7 for Gordon's team and 7 for my team. Then once we get our people, we actually have these teams battle against each other, or as I should say, Gordon and I battle against each other, and then whoever wins goes to the grilling. And so in the grilling, we send someone home, whoever's team is at the grilling. So if it's
Okay,
Gordon, he does. If it's me, I do.
so I've watched a couple of episodes, but so the first time you selected people based on their own business products and ideas, as you mentioned. But as the episodes go on, I've seen a few episode titles like Chico rolls and and stuff like that. How is the whole Chico rolls and Vegemite and all that sort of stuff coming into the series?
Right. So basically, what we do is we work with Australian brands. So the top Australian brands, everyone would know the brands that we work with. And so Chico Roll is a brand that I don't know about you. I don't know how old you are, but I think I'm older than you. So I remember the Chico Roll, right? And it's still in the old shop. So it used to be massive. And so I think it was basically going, all right, here's a challenge. We've got a brand that was iconic. It's now gone a little bit, people don't really love the Chico roll, or they used to love the Chico roll, which apparently has no chicken in it. Who knew?
Oh,
And I know, right? And then what they do is they have to reinvent it, and then they
ah,
have to make it different. So reinvent it and make it different. So how do they make it different? And then they have to serve it to like a place like the MCG, like a massive sporting arena. And so it's hectic. It is crazy. And it was
mm.
fun. It was really fun.
Yourself and Gordon might be looking for different things and with ideas, but let's stay in your lane. What are you looking for in terms of picking an investment?
I think first and foremost, I look for the person, what type of integrity they've got, what sort of person they are. And have they got that ability to really push through? So that's who I look for.
Mm. Gordon obviously has the whole kitchen nightmares persona, lots of swearing, strong personality. Give me the goss, Janine. What's your personal impressions of Gordon Ramsay? Because you would have met the behind the scenes man as well.
Yeah, look, it was funny because we had a dinner before the show, and so we're all on our best behaviors, and we're all very, polite and nice, and then we got into the filming, and we both found that we had actually were, funnily enough, even though I don't swear like Gordon, we're actually really similar. He worked on the boats as a young 21-year-old. I did too. I sort of went, oh God, did we cross paths? No, good. Okay, I'm glad we didn't cross paths when I was 21. He came from a very similar background that I did. He started his business similar to I did. So there was a lot of, he's got the same amount of kids. Actually, he's got one more now than I have. So we had a lot in common actually. But the biggest thing we've got in common is that we can give it and take it. And I think that as soon as we realized that neither of us were precious, I think at the time I called him a wanker on air, made him go, I actually quite like this girl. I didn't, but he was being a wanker. I'm just saying he was being a wanker. But the difference is in Australia, the wanker's not, like wankers can't argue a bit of a tosser, don't worry about it, right?
Yeah.
But England, wanker's like the bad word, right?
Oh.
So the guys were coming over afterwards. It's Gordon, Janine called you wanker. It's not like that in Australia. And I went, oh, for God's sake, he's fine. Like everyone just chill. And he was like, he's just a good bloke, right? He's constantly moving all the time. I think if you did ADHD in the dictionary underneath it said Gordon Ramsay. He actually told me that his mother told him that when she gave birth, she accidentally dropped into a bag of cocaine. He's so on all the time, right? So, and you look at him and go, yeah, I can see that, right? But the most generous, polite man, he was absolute delight to work for. And I've worked with some interesting ones. And he was a ripper. I really enjoyed working with him. We had a lot of fun. We were both ridiculously competitive. It was sort of like the producers were saying things like, okay, now just give them subtle hints, don't tell them stuff, right? But by the time it was either him or I losing, we were like, nah, we're in it. We are winning. So it was really good fun. And then he would play pranks all the time, and I'd be filming and he'd throw things at me, or he'd do something in the background. So it was a really fun set to work on. And the one thing I was concerned about was, did Gordon and I have a chemistry? And we certainly had a chemistry. It was great.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that on screen. So with your business skills and Gordon's culinary skills, are you guys not a match made in heaven for an investment? Was there any discussions?
Oh, look, Gordon in his own right is a very, you sit down with him, you hear all the business things he's doing, you're going, wow, he's a pretty impressive businessman. Who knows? You make connections with people, and things either go somewhere or they don't go somewhere. So there's certainly no discussions about Gordon and I joining forces for anything particularly. But I must admit though, when I told my friends I was doing a show with Gordon Ramsay called Food Stars, they actually sort of looked at me with quite puzzled but Janine, you don't cook that much. so so they had to say there was that constant, which I didn't realize. I mean, I can cook, right? I can cook just about there, but I'm not I cook for kids. I cook for family. I'm just a home cook. And so I think it was very funny and very enlightening to know that my friends don't think I'm that great a cook.
Look, you can't really get two bigger names than Janine Allis and Gordon Ramsay to headline a show, but you were both trumped in episode one. Unless it was a prank, did the most recognizable music superstar in the world kind of make an appearance in the first episode?
Oh, Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was no prank. That was Madonna. Like Gordon, I mean, look, his black book. I mean, yes, I work for David Bowie, but Gordon's black book is like crazy. Like, so we had Madonna on. We had her personal chef. She was going for a gig. She was great actually. And so they were very funny. There was, I think, Fergie made an appearance. So there's all that other couple of names that pop up. So there's some really interesting moments in this show, actually.
Well, speaking of interesting moments, this is definitely not a question you get asked every day, but is this fact or fiction? Did Janine Allis jump into bed with Gordon Ramsay for some shit the bed?
No, I said I wouldn't jump in the bed. We sat on the end of the bed. So yes, I have been on a bed with him, but we sat at the end of it.
And for some shit the bed.
Yeah, no, and no, I didn't even try. If something's called shit the bed, I am not going near that product. Gordon could. yourself out, Gordon. Go for it. Me, not so.
For those that are listening, shit the bed is the name of it's like a hot sauce, which the investor, yeah, interesting name for for a sauce. Um, look, it looks like a huge show, but as we get to the end, I want to ask about the person behind the on-screen persona that is Janine Allis. Who are you with the cameras turned off, outside of the boardroom, outside of visiting your stores, outside of the investment tank? What are you passionate about, and what do you like doing away from everything?
Look, I'm not a definitely not a socialite. Like I try and avoid parties or events as much as I physically can. I'm a early riser. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I'm in bed by 8:30, hence why events really I go, can I be in bed by 8:30? No, I can't go. um, I'm mostly makeupless. I am and I wear comfy, baggy clothes everywhere. So I'm probably the antithesis of what you see on TV with the makeup with beautiful hair and the suits. I mean, the suits just never get worn. So I'm a person that's happy with sand between her toes and a surfboard between my legs. Right. So that's probably where my happy place is. So and I just love hanging out with my family and friends. So pretty much normal.
Oh, beautiful. And finally, you must get asked for advice all the time. I have a feeling, even though there is individual advice, there must be some holistic themes to what you tell people. What is your number one advice to people with big ideas and an unknown path?
I think for business and for life is just check who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that have their hand in the middle of your back, encouraging you to move forward, then they're probably the people, that you want to be around. But if you're with people who drag you down, or they're energy vampires, or then just not great with you and your business, then you're not going to hit the heights that you want to hit. Because as I said, we get in our own way enough to let alone having other people to get in our way as well. So I think surround yourself by really good people. For my kids, I know for a fact, and this is like, it's so obvious, I know, but 51% of people get it wrong, is when you marry someone or when you partner with someone, really choose that partner really carefully, because that's where great joy or great pain comes from.
Yeah. Well, Janine, your business skills and abilities speak for themselves, but I wanted to say thank you from those that you inspire, but especially from young women that can still be a minority when it comes to the boardroom tables around Australia. I know many look up to you, and they see a strong, passionate woman leading the way. So thank you, and a huge good luck with Food Stars, and thank you for joining me at TV Central.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Janine Allis, headliner for Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. Actually, strike that. Janine Allis's Food Stars, beginning Tuesday, March the 26th at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 9 and 9 Now. Her book, The Accidental Entrepreneur, The Juicy Bits, is available now as well. Well, that's it for this one-on-one podcast. For all the latest television news and podcasts, head to tvcentral.com.au. I'm off now to pitch some ideas to Janine to invest in TV Central. I'm Aaron Ryan. Thanks to Janine Allis. Bye for now.